food. Just, that's what, now, socialism can support an economy like that. An economy of small groups that have very few processes of production that aren't very complicated or very short. So socialism results in the complete destruction of the social division of labor, of people cooperating to produce goods and services, okay? So socialism destroys society as we know it. If you realize, as Austrian economists do, that society is based on the division of labor among human beings, then in fact you'll understand why that happened. Okay. Oh, let me mention another small anecdote, just to show you or illustrate the problem with calculation. I have a friend, but a number of years ago she moved from New Jersey to Montana. And married a real cowboy, somebody who actually lived on a ranch and actually had cattle and rode horses. And so a few years, they lived in a big house, but they had a growing family. So she called me up one day and said, "Well, you know, we just got a new house." That's how she put it. We just got a new house. And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Did you moved off the ranch, or do you have another one built?" She says, "Well, no." She says, "We ordered one, and we just took our other one apart and replaced it with a new one." So what happens out there, where there's about 12 people in Montana, labor is very scarce. It has a very high price. Unlike the Northeast or the Southeast, where people, when they build a house, come to the land where it's being built and actually construct the infrastructure and then the house itself. Out in Montana, people order houses from factories. The factories are in Nebraska. There's factories in Nebraska. They put together the house in pieces, so it's done with a lot more capital, a lot less labor. They put together the houses in modular pieces, and then they ship the houses on these trucks, on these wide-load trucks. And so, now, would a central planner ever figure out that it's more economical to build the house 1,000 miles away? Of course not. But this was a cheaper way of building the house. When you know your costs of production, you can come up with these innovative ways of producing products. Okay, so now I want to just talk a little bit about the sort of the essence of the market economy, which Mises is called the intellectual division of labor, not to be confused with what Hayek called the division of knowledge. The intellectual division of labor tells us that everyone, no matter what your status is, what your job is, what sort of income you have, everyone participates in creating the price system which allows calculation. Mises called this the social appraisement process. It's what allows prices of resources to emerge from nowhere. These things are created. Okay? They're created out of the interaction of human beings. No one human being can create a price system. The price system isn't the outcome of a single human will or a single human mind, okay? It transcends human beings, so all of us contribute to it. And here it is. You have the entrepreneur always at the center of the market economy. The entrepreneur is seeking profit, and in order to do so, he has to have an idea of what consumers will pay for his product. Not today, and in fact, it may be a completely new product, by the way, but what they will pay for the product a year from now, 6 months from now, maybe even 5 years down the road. From planning stage to a dealer floor, a showroom, it takes 5 years for a new model car to get produced. So you're looking at supply and demand down the road. So since we have prices, and there are prices of automobiles today, the entrepreneur uses that experience of present prices, or if it's a new good like a tablet computer that hasn't been produced before, the iPad, you look at other goods that might be substitutable for it. You get some idea of what people might be willing to pay for it. You could be wrong. But now what do? You and all the other entrepreneurs who are producing a variety of products, the multiplicity of products that make up the entire economy, they all are all looking forward at their particular goods that they want to produce. And then they all, if I get this right here, yes, they all go to the resource markets and they bid for resources, land, labor, capital goods, and so on. So what the social appraisement process does is on an individual level, the entrepreneurs appraise future prices, okay? These prices emerge out of people's qualitative knowledge of people's value scales. The entrepreneurs have to know how they value these things. They have to forecast them. So this process transforms qualitative knowledge that's in people's heads and that's expressed through behavior on the market into quantitative ratios, that is price ratios, the prices necessary for resources. Okay. So this is what permits the market economy to calculate. It encompasses everyone, okay? And it is a transcendent process. It transcends any human being. It's a true social phenomenon. Just as the division of labor, where people are specialized, is a true social phenomenon, the intellectual division of labor actually is superimposed on that. It actually directs and allows to exist the division of labor and cooperation. Okay. And I think I have a minute or two more. Okay, this just sums up what I said. Okay. Basic lesson that you can always, no matter what you want to produce, you can always figure out the costs of production. And you can always forecast what you think the price will be, so you can always decide whether or not you'll be wasting resources or using them in a way that benefits consumers and benefits you in the form of profits. So there was a number of responses to Mises's original article by some German economists. There were some naive responses. One was by the fanatical socialist Marxist Otto Neurath, and he said, what's the problem? We'll just add up things in kind. We'll add up kilowatts of energy, we'll add up tons of coal, gallons of paint, and we can do accounting without money. Of course, that's crazy. Every schoolboy knows that that's crazy. And Neurath actually was a student in Vienna with Mises in the great Eugen von Bombawerk's seminar, who was the student of Menger. Okay, he was an idiot. I mean, I can't say, what else can I say? Calculating with labor hours, okay? Well, everyone works and everyone has labor hours, so we can figure out what, how many labor hours it takes to produce a good. They got this from Ricardo, the classical economist, and we can then determine the cost that way. Well, is the labor hour of the just retired, let's say Kobe Bryant, equal in value to the labor hour of the 12th man who sits on the bench in the NBA? Of course, even in the same profession, the labor hours aren't of the same quality. But when you start comparing labor hours of a brain surgeon to labor hours of a software engineer to labor hours of someone on a construction crew, you can see that they're heterogeneous. It's just like, again, adding apples and oranges. Also, that solution leaves out capital goods and land. Labor is more, the same labor will be more productive if instead of shovels and picks, he's equipped with a backhoe that's digging the foundation for a home, let's say. So Mises already addressed this before the criticisms came. Assuming a stationary economy, this was a little bit more sophisticated, but not much. Basically, they said, well, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell on the last day of capitalism, or rather on the first day of socialism, we're going to keep everybody in place, tell the managers, do exactly what you did yesterday, and tell all the workers to do the same thing. Okay? To just keep doing that. But of course, that would work in an economy of dead people, or people of robots that just did the same thing and had the same tastes and so on. Okay? It does not work in the real world. There's technological breakthroughs. People's values are continually changing. The whole purpose of an economy is to shift resources from lower to higher valued uses. So a stationary economy, assuming a stationary economy assumes the problem away, doesn't solve the problem. Okay? And I'll just show you a few others, the more sophisticated ones, market socialism, mathematical solutions, and so on. Mises basically said that market socialism, where the government sets prices, is playing market, okay, playing with prices. It's like children playing with prices. He said you could get the right prices, or the prices are the same as picking prices out of a hat. Okay? And a mathematical solution, Mathematical solution is very sophisticated, but it applies, as Mises pointed out, only to a stationary economy where there are no profits. Okay? So it can tell you exactly what to produce if people's tastes, if the technology, and if the resources were frozen forever into the future. All right? There's more to be said about that, but I'm out of time, so I will stop here. Thank you.